pushes for the new you, massive matrix breaking, and boundaries in check. Hey you guys, it's Alyssa Rushton with your July 2022 energy update. And this update is for intuitives, energy sensitives, empaths, light workers, and light leaders just like you. Hold on, I'm going to move my camera just a little bit. So hello and welcome for those of you who are joining with me live. If this is your first time here with me, whether you're live streaming here on Instagram or YouTube or wherever you're seeing this, please come back around and pop a chat in because sometimes your comments don't always stick. I would love to welcome you to this community and to say hello and thank you for being here. And if you always come around to these energy updates, I want to thank you so much for being here and celebrate you. So definitely pop in a chat and say hello. Okay. If this is your first time, then I wanted to share with you how we do these energy updates is I'm going to talk about the energy for the month of July. And then at the end, I'll share some tips and takeaways and best practices that you can have so that you can really ride the waves of this energy, and some journal questions, which you guys always tell me are your favorite. Also, I want to say, and it's over here, so I can't show it to you right now, but I have a giveaway. So if you're here watching live or on the replay, for the next 72 hours, if you share this video and you tag me and a friend, you will be entered to win a drawing for a really special pen. And in fact, I'm going to go get it. So 1 second. It's just right here, you guys. Let me get this pen. So this pen is a magical pen that I actually give to the women who join my divinely designed business coaching program. And this is filled with crystal quartz. It's Swarovski. It's beautiful. And it's a wonderful pen that's been charged here on the Big Island to help you really write down and manifest your intentions very quickly. So if you share this video either right now or after it's over, and tag me so that my team can know, we'll scoop up all the people that shared and you'll be entered to win one of these beautiful pens. So make sure you do that and share it with somebody who either personally that you know they would love this video, or share it on a story. If you share it on a story, you'll get 25 extra entries to win this beautiful guy. So anyways, let's talk about the energies that are here for this month of July, because there's a lot going on. You guys know I've got my little notes here, so I make sure and remember everything because there's a lot going on. So the first energy that's up for July is huge pushes to move you forward into your higher destiny path and quantum leaps of consciousness. So this one is really interesting how this is showing up. Many of you are being redirected yet once again. And I want you to think back to 2020. What were you trying to do in 2020? Who were you trying to be? What were you trying to accomplish? What were your goals in business, in relationships, with your health? You're getting yet again another redirection. And here's why, and here's the trick. I'm going to talk about the two groups or categories I'm seeing of these people. So if you, in 2020, were really trying to go for something new, you knew that your life needed a change, you knew that there was a higher expression version of you and your soul that you could embody here, and you were really trying to go after that. What happened in 2020, the energetics of 2020 really queued up a series of events that sort of gave many people a tumble, if you will, kind of a tumbling effect where you went after something you really wanted, but then the world did its wobble and all of the old programs, a lot of it ego-based, a lot of it wants and needs-based that came from wounding, got brought up and pushed to the surface. And the cool part about that is if you're in this first group of people, for the last 2 years, you've been doing the work, you've been doing the trauma healing, you have been really taking the guidance as it comes and trying to take those parts of your life that were expressing themselves from a more trauma-informed place. For example, you maybe wanted that book deal, but you wanted the book deal for all the wrong reasons. because you felt like it was going to make you be something, when now over the last 2 years you realize, I don't need the book deal, I don't need all that, but you're coming around again at it in a new way where the book deal is just given to you and you're really surprised and delighted because you did the inner healing work of not needing it from the ego. So this is a huge key piece. And if that's you, if you've been doing this ego work, then you will have a much easier go at this next time frame. And I'm really seeing this as a 2-year time cycle. So you're being redirected once again. And interestingly enough, you might be redirected around again to the same thing that you were trying to get before, only now you don't need it. Now you're like, yeah, I don't really need that. I have all those energies inside of myself. And so it can come in a very healed way, in a very whole way. And that's a really beautiful thing. However, if in 2020 you were going at something that you really wanted, and yes, you've done some healing work over the last couple of years, but there's still layers of ego-based work to be done, you might be feeling like you're getting a redirect in a non-beneficial way. Maybe there's parts of your life that are really, really not working, and you're seeing it, and it feels internally in your energy system like it's non-beneficial or not positive. And that's sort of the main distinction I'm seeing with these two groups of energies is one group, yes, you're being redirected, but it feels super positive. It feels completely magical and amazing. You're seeing all sorts of new opportunities and things that you only sort of dreamed were possible before, but now they're here, whereas before they weren't. You kind of had to slog through it the old way. And then there's this other group of folks where you're sort of in the same boat, you're getting redirected, but it doesn't feel positive. It doesn't feel like, oh, this feels magical. Instead, it feels like, gosh, this again? And so if that's you, if you're feeling like, gosh, this again, any places and spaces where that's showing up in your energy system, I'm actually going to be doing a masterclass on this next week. And it's how to very quickly shift energies that have been living inside of us. It's called the quantum jump system. And I'm going to show you how to do this. So make sure that you stay tuned for that. I'm going to try to do it on Friday next week. But in the meantime, before this masterclass, I wanted to share with you, if you're feeling any places and spaces in your own energy system like, gosh, I can't believe I'm doing this again, the thing to deal with is the trauma and the energies that are living inside of you. And one of the fastest, quickest ways, we'll talk a lot about this on the masterclass. It's a free masterclass, by the way. We'll talk a lot about this on the masterclass, is just simply acknowledging that that energy that you keep experiencing is living inside of you. And so once you realize that the energy is living inside of you, then you can take responsibility for it, and then you can work with it. And I'm going to show you how to do that on our masterclass. So be on the lookout for that. And if you're watching this video on the replay, I'll put a link to sign up for the masterclass below this video after it's over, and then in the replay. So again, many of you are being redirected. It's a deep transformation that's happening. And really, I can't express this enough. It is to help you face the truth of who you really are at a soul level. It's to help redirect you onto your true soul's path. For many of you, this is a much truer path that's way more aligned for you and your energy system. You guys know this, but you are intuitives, you're energy sensitives. You need to be more in nature. You need to be out with more time and spaciousness in your world. You actually need that for you. So you're literally right now seeing the places and spaces that don't line up with that. And there's a call to action here to align those parts of yourself and your world and your life with that truer aspects of you. And so part of how the energies do this, if you're not already in alignment with that, is there's a bit of chaos and disruption energies coming through in July. This chaos and disruption energy, I call it confetti energy, because I often feel like in my personal life, when I see this happening, it's like the universe takes my life, scoops it up, makes confetti out of it, flows it up in the air so that I'm swirling around so much that I'm popped out of any sort of old locked in timelines. And then the quantum super fast alignments can come in. When we are locked into, well, how's this going to happen? And what are my next steps? And all those sort of left brain logical activities, it's very hard to have a quantum jump. Okay, so the universe literally has to shake your life up like a snow globe, confetti it, and then you, when it's in confetti, your job is to really align with what it is that you want and who it is that you truly are here to be. You already know who you're here to be. You're here to be an embodied example of what it means to be a new human. You're here to be an embodied example of what it means to work energies first and read energies and be intuitive and sensitive and really tapped into life and embodied fully. And when I say embodied fully, because of the work I do with energy leaders or light leaders, is that, a lot of us have done a lot of healing work and a lot of healing modalities, and yet there's some people that are still not embodied as a healed whole healer. And so what that means is literally, they're out there doing the work, but they can't be alone in a room with their brother because it's too triggering, right? It's just far too triggering to be in the room with their brother, right? He's going to say something to, mess them up. So part of this work is to do even more healing work, is to do even more alignment work and micro alignment work as we go through. And so now is a beautiful time to just check in. Really check in with yourself and ask yourself the question, is what I'm seeing now in my life in alignment with my new now energy? Is what's going on in my world today, like as you're listening to this today, is your life in alignment with your new now energy? And if it's not, that's okay. We can make micro alignments. We can make micro adjustments. And in July, you're going to be given some beautiful opportunities and energetic pushes forward to really come into alignment with your new now energetic self. I want to also say that there is a group of people who is really not in alignment with their selves in terms of like the energy healers and intuitives and sensitives and that sort of thing. And if that is you, if you really look at your life and as a whole, you're like, okay, wow, things are out of balance. Okay, wow, I'm not doing the job that I want to. Okay, wow, I'm not in the relationship that I want to be in the way that I want to be in it. That's really just important to say, okay, I'm seeing this. Thank you for letting me see this really clearly. And I'm going to set my energy right now to make a quantum leap and a quantum jump into a different state of being, into what I know is my potential. And quantum jumps are really cool because you can do it in a moment, and it really happens with a decision. Quantum jumps, you don't need to know the how. You literally, in fact, if you knew how, you would already be doing it. So it's great that you don't know the how. You just really have to set your energy to say, okay, I've had enough of this. I'm going to do it differently. And so we'll talk more about that in our masterclass next week. On Friday. Let's see. The next energy that's up for this month, really, oh my gosh, this is so huge, you guys, is boundaries check. So how I'm seeing this show up for people, I want to show you an example of literally what the energy is coming through. So imagine somebody who's always lived on their own, and all of a sudden they have a roommate. And that roommate, they have actually been wanting a roommate or somebody to live with for a while. And so on one level, it's a really cool thing. It's a really cool opportunity and it feels really good. And on another level, they're getting their boundaries checked to see where is this in alignment and where is this out of alignment for your new now energy. And so an example of this, I'm literally seeing this person get up, they've got their whole morning routine, and they've now got this roommate, and this roommate sort of comes and dumps on them first thing in the morning, and their morning routine gets hijacked, if you will. And so this boundaries check, and this is just a sample of the boundaries check energy, is really a place for you to go within and understand, where are you getting your boundaries checked? Where are you having to say, okay, this is a moment where I'm going to have to be a faster, quicker energy so that I don't get my boundaries checked, so that I can be so strong in who my I amness is, who my I am presence is, that boundary doesn't stand a chance of getting crossed. So however this looks for you, maybe it's with a business partner, maybe this is with a spouse, maybe this is with, I've got some kitties now that are checking my boundaries, right? They're my new roommates that are like, hey, they're howling at me in the morning and saying, we want food. And so I have to really check my own boundaries to go, well, where is this fitting with my own routine? No, these aren't my kitties even, right? So we're getting checked into our new now boundaries and really being asked to embody and hold more of who you truly are now. One thing that's really important to remember if you are getting your boundaries checked again is you can make those micro adjustments to the energy. So you can switch up the energy very quickly by simply acknowledging an energy that's there that you don't prefer, to say, oh yes, I can see this energy is here. And oftentimes that energy is there because it's an energy that literally you are holding within yourself. So I'll give you an example. If I were holding this can of water and I'm thinking, gosh, this can of water is getting really heavy. I might like to set this water down. The longer I hold it, the more heavier it's going to get. If I ignore that I'm holding the can of water, it's just going to continue to get heavier and heavier. Versus if I simply say, oh yes, I'm holding a can of water, I could set this down. The same thing goes for energies. When we are looking outside of ourselves to change something, for example, I'm holding this water. Gosh, I wish this bottle weren't so heavy. Gosh, I wish I didn't have to hold this water. That is the first tip. So if you're asking the question, or if you're saying to yourself, I wish this was different, I wish I didn't have to deal with this person in this way, I wish I didn't, or I wish this were different, that's the first indication that this is an energetic that's happening within you that is asking to get cleaned up. And so, for example, if you were having, let me use a money program. If you were having, let's say your assistant is coming to you and they're always in a money panic and they're like, gosh, can you pay my invoice early? Can you pay me early because I'm in a money crunch, right? That's an energy that's living actually inside of you, and it's getting projected on the outside of you. And so one of the quickest things you can do to clean this up is say, what is the commandment? What is the commandment that I commanded long back ago, or maybe my parents commanded this in the DNA, in the epigenetics, that is allowing this to play out? Oftentimes, we have a personal commandment, and it might sound something like this. People always are going to rely on me. So maybe in an emergency, you had somebody that really did rely on you. Whatever is expressing in your outer world, if you can just take responsibility for it and go, oh wait, this energy that I'm holding this energy. It's me, it's heavy, I'm holding it, I can alchemize it, right? Because energy in quantum physics never goes away. It just gets transmuted. So you can either hold the heavy energy that you don't like, or you can work to transmute it. And the transmutation process simply starts by you taking responsibility for holding that energy in the first place, without judgment, without any sort of notion of blame or shame or guilt or anything like that. Just simply an acknowledgement of, oh yes, I probably got this installed when I was very young, or maybe in a heightened emotional state, or maybe my grandparents or my grandparents installed it epigenetically, and now I'm just going to witness it, I'm going to notice it, and I'm going to ask that this energy be transmuted, and I'm going to set it down. And that's really as simple as it gets. And then making a new commandment. So whatever the thing is in your life, maybe it's, I can't get my needs met. No matter what I do, my needs aren't getting met. Or no matter what I do, I'm always taking care of somebody else. Whatever that is, then you can alchemize that by making a new commandment to your energy system. Because here's the truth. Are you ready? The truth is that you are in a faster, quicker energy field. You're in a higher level of consciousness now and communication with your cells and your DNA and your mitochondria than ever before. So you can actually rewrite a program very quickly by making a new commandment to your energy body and just say something as easy as, I now command that my needs are always met. I now command my cells and body and mind and subconscious mind to always project that my needs always get met in the most magical of ways. You can literally create new commandments. And this is so valuable, and it's so great to just know and then watch as your life starts to switch and change as you're working with this energy. So some tips for you on how to work with this energy in July, but boundaries being checked for sure. And really asking yourself, does this feel right to me now? Because there is no more status quo. We are at a time where, and by the way, we've always been at this time. It just is now really apparent. You're either moving upwards in the energy frequency or you're moving downwards in the energy frequency. And there really isn't a slow pace at this. You know, it's pretty rapid fire pace. What's cool is if you choose to be rapid fire pace, then it really is rapid fire pace of you going up. And if you choose to not deal with the situation, to not take responsibility, to not claim it and go, okay, let me alchemize this into a different energetic, then the energy goes down very quickly too. So it's a really fascinating and cool time. Let's see. So again, some more trauma healing work to be done. Some more of that inner excavation. A lot of that happening in July. In July, there's a lot of, I'm seeing it as kind of a more volatile, explosive type of an energy. So one thing to remember, if you are dealing with boundaries, if you are dealing with a situation that isn't working for you in some sense, something to really be mindful of here is that due to the nature of the energetics this month, your delivery is really important. So if you can be softer with the delivery, or maybe even just wait for a bit, knowing what your truth is, but letting the energetics sort of settle out towards the end of the month, that can be really helpful. And by the way, for those of you live, thank you so much for being here. Pop a comment and say hello, and tell me what you're dealing with too. I'd love to hear. Whether you're on YouTube live or Instagram live or wherever you're listening to live, and then be sure and come back to the replay and say hi, because I want to celebrate you. So with a more fireworky energy, you really do want to pace yourself with it, so to speak, and give it maybe more space than you normally would. right? If something's hotter than it normally is, you want to give yourself more padding, right? If I'm getting something that's really hot out of the oven, I want to make sure that my oven mitt has got good insulation. So that's sort of the energy that I'm seeing July in. You might very much know your truth. You might very much know you need to have a conversation with somebody. You might very much know you need to leave a job or a situation or ask somebody to leave or whatever it is. But giving it a little more space and cushion and sweetness and gentleness than you normally would, so that it doesn't create this blow up energy, because not everybody is as conscious as you are. Not everybody is in a non-reactive mode like you are. So some people might very much react to triggering that they're having. And, you're the person who's in the moment being the trigger to them. So just for whatever that's worth. Let's see. Matrix breaks. Let's talk about the next energy of matrix breaks. So this is really interesting how I'm seeing this energy come in with the matrix break, because people that you wouldn't even imagine could wake up in this lifetime are actually waking up in this lifetime. They're being activated, and they're having all sorts of questions about their life and about their purpose and about what's true and what's real. And so for you, as a light worker, as a starseed, as an intuitive, as an empath, your role is to become more embodied than ever, so that you can then transmit out an energetic that people can go, well, what are you doing differently? What is it that you're doing? And your life's actually working in a much different way than mine is. I would love to know. And they'll just simply ask you questions and get really curious. That's what I see really starting to come forth this next month and beyond. For the next 2.5 years, we'll be in sort of a rapid fire, massive, huge wave of people waking up. Now, because of that, what's catalyzing that is the matrix breaks, is people seeing where, they didn't understand that the news they were watching was paid for advertising. They didn't understand that the Forbes article for the top 10 most cool entrepreneurs to watch in 2020, all those entrepreneurs had paid money to be in that article. They didn't understand that the news articles that they see in the paper are literally people paying money to somebody to have that information out there in the world, or being paid by somebody to put that information out into the world. So this is a huge matrix break that's going to start to happen for people. And it's sort of shocking and mind-blowing at first, because, my parents' generation always thought that if you see something in the news, it's true. It's been vetted. It's been well researched. It's been all of the things. And now people are really starting to understand, oh my gosh, most of what I see in the world is paid for and promoted by somebody with an agenda to do something. And so that's a really big matrix break, and it's starting to just be out there, and people are starting to finally get it. You'll see other big matrix breaks as well. I'm certainly not going to predict them all here, but there will be enough of them that people, when the matrix breaks, when I say matrix, I mean to say, we are all living, whatever dimension you're living in a sort of an energy matrix. And their third dimensional energy matrix is starting to fall apart and crumble. And they're not seeing the world in the same way that they thought the world was. And so that can be very jarring for people. And when it does, they need a lot of support. So for people like you, it is a wonderful opportunity to step up into more of your leadership roles, into more of your gifts, into more of just being a vessel of embodiment of what it means to be the new human, and allowing people to attune to you on some sense, allowing people to ask you questions without you needing to change them or needing them to be different. And this is a really cool time. So if you are more in that leadership role, you really do want to see how you can embody more. Because at the end of the day, it really is about embodiment. If you are trained in, you might be a Reiki master and a massage practitioner and a tarot card reader, but if you cannot be in the room with your mom or, your husband or the woman at work's always triggering you, then there's really some healing work, some trauma healing work to be done there. Okay, a lot of energies this month. The big ones, I just want to recap them, are a huge push for a new you and a quantum leap in your consciousness. It is a new path for a truer version of you. There is big boundaries checks this month, so really just tuning in to make sure what you're doing is aligned with you and you're not accidentally repeating or replicating an old version of yourself. Matrix breaks and more trauma healing work. One thing I forgot and I want to talk to you really quickly is sovereignty and awakening to your power. So we are feeling a huge wave of sovereignty coming, and how these energies often express themselves first in order to be healed is to show you the contrast version of themselves. So whenever you are experiencing a contrast version, and I say contrast, I wear this coin because I don't like to think of things as good or bad or positive and negative necessarily. I just think about it as a contrast. It's the flip side of the coin, right? You've got heads, you've got tails, and then you've got the outside of the coin. The coin always has three sides, right? It's got the heads, it's got the tails, and it's got the outside in third dimension. So what you want to really be mindful of is that as you are seeing these big things in the world that feel like a contrast, there's a huge opportunity there to go into the energy, not fight the energy on the outside world, not tell everybody why they're wrong, or go into argument mode or, provoke conversations about it. Really, truly, you can make the most change and be the most effective by working the energies first. And I always go back to this. I have a whole class about this in the Miracles Portal, where we literally work the energies first, because it all starts with energy anyways. And so if you are trying to just work with the outside stuff and never working on the inner energies that are creating this stuff in the beginning, then we always have the same set of circumstances. They just are on repeat. They replicate themselves. Energy stays the same until it's consciously transformed. So literally, this bottle is going to stay this bottle until I either crush it, I throw it away, I could decorate it and make it really pretty, but basically it's going to stay like this until I consciously choose to make it into something different. The same is true for our life experiences. The same is true for what you're seeing in the outside world that you don't prefer. So anytime you're seeing something in the outside world that you don't prefer, it is your opportunity to go within and work the energetics of what that actually is. And in this case, this month, and for the next few months, there's a lot of energetics around personal sovereignty, being able to come back into who we were at one time on this planet, which was beings who could decide what was good for them, decide where they wanted to live, decide, how much or little you wanted to work in a way that was based on your energetics, your star plan, all of those things, right? We had knowledge and access to that, where really for the last 100 years or more, we've gotten off course, really disconnected from what it means to be an I am presence in physical form. And now you're coming back into that, but you might see the contrast of it first. So again, a beautiful time to go in and rework that energy and claim back your sovereignty. Heal, do the inner healing work of any places or spaces where sovereignty was taken away. And that's really the big, big work of this time. So let's get to the tips and takeaways. Lots of disruption energies coming through this month. And if so, if you're in that chaos, here's a tip. Just command miracles. You can say something like, even though I'm in the chaos right now, I expect miracles to happen out of this situation. Even though this, whatever it is happening, I command miracles to be created from this. I use it as fuel for my most vibrant, most miraculous, most absolutely on purpose life. That is something that you can do in all the moments. Journal questions to ask yourself. And these are really great ones to just sit down and tune into. I highly encourage you to do it. What have you been accepting for too long? Either within yourself, within the world, within other people. Whatever that is, just journal about it and then offer it some healing. Let it know that it can move onward, that you can transform it into something different. Remember, we're working with quantum energy and photonic particles. Ask yourself, what is no longer in alignment with your true self, with your true energy? Remember, many of you have been in the process of unpeeling the layers of untrueness, right? You've been unpacking them one by one, really getting down to the core of your soul's essence, the core of you, the multidimensional aspects of you. And so you can just keep asking what's no longer in alignment with your true essence and just see what the universe tells you. And then ask yourself, where have you been consistently being redirected? Okay, said differently, where have you noticed in your life that the universe keeps trying to redirect you again and again and again and again? Is it in your relationships? Is it in your living situation? Is it in your finances? You're being redirected in some area of your life. Just ask where it is and ask to be shown, to know, to be guided to what it is, what energetic you can be that will align you with divine guidance, with divine redirection, right? Because we can often, I've seen people do it, we can resist that redirection so much so that we've got to keep coming back at it for the next 10 years. Some people call that divine timing. I personally think that at any moment you can choose to get out of the redirection and be on your path. Be, not that you're not always on your path, but be on purpose and let go of whatever it was, whatever the trauma is that's been keeping you from the version of yourself that you really know you're here to be, right? Let's see, where are you being shown more of where you can step into your purpose and your mission? I suspect about you, because you are a starseed, you are a light worker, you are a light leader, a healer, a sensitive, an intuitive, check, all of the above, that you are really have been shown a way that you can kind of redirect your life or refocus the life in a way that's really in alignment with you and that puts you more on purpose, that gets you feeling more like, yes, I'm waking up every day and just, yes, this is a yummy, yummy life. So ask to be shown that, ask to be shown the people and the circumstances where you can be of service and really truly be on your purpose. Maybe it's something like I'm literally seeing a vision of a woman who flies drones for a living, and she's like going out now and she's teaching other women, other girls how to take charge of their life and how to have this whole new energy in their life, right? She's not just teaching how to fly drones, she's teaching them how to literally become and be a different person that's in alignment with their soul's path, right? Okay, and then lastly, where are you seeing your new directions? When you look at those new directions, which one lights up for you more? Which one feels more enthusiastic, which one feels more in alignment with you, and then where are you wanting to go? So if you're wanting something, and this is the last little bit I'm going to leave you with, if you are really wanting something, what I have found in my work with energy is that wanting something, it's usually, and here's where your check-in is, it's usually because it's a feeling that you don't have inside of yourself. And unfortunately, whenever we are looking to the outside circumstances or the outside world or an outside person to give us a feeling that we don't have within ourselves, all that's going to do is give you a contrast experience. AKA, it's going to give you the experience that you really wouldn't prefer. So the work, if you are really wanting to have something still, is to do a check-in. What part of you wants that? What part of you maybe needs a little more healing around that? What part of you needs just a little bit more of some self-love and maybe self-worth or something, right? That's an internal feeling first. And I can totally feel you guys feeling that. So yay. But that's the big check-in is why are you wanting it? What part of you is wanting it? And that's the most important thing. So my friends, I hope you have loved this video. Remember, if you're still listening, you can, as soon as we're getting done with this video, you can share it in a story, tag me, and you can be entered into a drawing to win this beautiful Swarovski pen. It's beautiful, it's refillable, and it's been charged up by this magical island. And it works brilliantly to write out what you're creating. And I found that this helps people to bring in those circumstances quite quickly. So I hope you love this video. Thank you for watching. Thank you for your light. Thank you for being here. And thank you for being somebody who is, embodying this newer, faster energy more and more every single day. I love you so much. I will talk to you soon, and be sure to check back for the link to the masterclass, which we're going to do next Friday, and it's all about quantum jumping and working with the energies. Okay. I love you guys. Bye for now.